Testing, can you hear us? How about now? We're going to do a little test here to make sure we have the sound. Let me plug this back in. Testing. If not, we'll start it up again. Can you hear me? Test, test, test. Let's see, I can test it right here. Stay with us, everyone. This is a very special. Yes, it looks like we're working. Just give me a confirmation. Somebody can let me know that you can hear us. There we go. Oh man. Okay, we'll just hang in there. That's all. There we go. Hello. Can you hear me? Now I hear you. Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Can you hear us? Okay. Now we're on. All right. So we're going to start over for everyone joining. First of all, I'm honored for every one of you. This is day 19 of my cross-country inspirational road trip. And I'm honored and humbled for all of you that have followed along. I have a very inspirational person here, Alison Miller. Say hello, Alison, again.
Hey, everyone.
We're here. So we're talking about Alison's Odyssey of Love. She has been on the road for quite some time, 7 years. Sound is good. Beautiful. Thank you, Bruce. Bruce is a life coach, incredible guy. Right. He's in my circle. So we'll
Hey,
glad to have him with us. Alison, let's go back and share again what we just talked about, because I want to give everybody the perspective of this, of your incredible journey.
About my Odyssey of Love.
Yes.
I've been on the road for 7 years now, honoring my husband, Chuck Deering, who died in April of 2013. And I bought a little trailer after he died in a car, and I painted them in a customized shade of pink. And I set out on the road on what became an Odyssey of Love, connecting with people and creating community for myself and trying to figure out life without him. And my trailer quickly, I kind of started opening it up. It wasn't, I realized, just about me and Chuck and our love story. It was about everybody, and it's about love. And so my trailer now, and it's a little tab teardrop, is covered front, back, and sides with the names of people, loved ones that have been sent to me from around the country and around the world, and messages of love that people write as I meet them along the way. And I guess it was 2016, I was back in New Jersey, and that's where you and I met, because through Susan yes. Brossman.
Thank you, Susan, for introducing us. I interviewed, we interviewed you back in 2016, and we had an incredible event to launch Alison's Odyssey of Love and the continuation of her journey that she'd already been on, and to really help people with grief, since she had the beautiful experience in life to experience a love affair that, to truly experience that, which some people don't even experience that, but then to experience the other side of it, the loss, and to really, Alison's like a pioneer to break down the stereotypes and the stigmas around what loss should be. And she just has this incredible outpouring of her heart to other people on their journey. And we're just saying, the people that have signed her trailer, 9/11 survivors.
9/11 survivors, widows of 9/11 survivors. I've got military people who have signed it, first responders, widows, parents. A woman sent me her daughter's name from Australia.
Wow.
A couple of people from Scotland, and they've actually invited me to come and visit them. They live in an artist colony in Scotland, 2 widows. So it's really every relationship, because it is not about grief. It's because grief is love, and love is grief. And so my Odyssey of Love is truly about love. It started out because Chuck died, and it devastated me. And you know what? I'm still devastated, and I am out on the road connecting with people and creating community, because that's what you've got to do. And so my mission in life is to not only remember and honor the love that Chuck left behind for me and to connect with people, but to change the language of grief and how it's perceived in our country and our culture, which is really screwed up. I would use another word because it's even more than screwed up, but it's just, there's a lot of misunderstandings. Yeah. So I figure the more honest and the more real I can be about it, and I always have been, it's my nature, then that'll help other people to also be that way about it. And that will just slowly start changing how we perceive grief and what it is.
Yeah.
in the end, it's love. And so you don't forget it. You don't get on with it. There's not closure. All of the nonsense is, oh, God, you could go on forever. It's nonsense. And so I'm here to say, and I know there's other people out there too who are working to change the language and the perception of what grief is.
Yeah.
And so my trailer is that traveling tribute to love now. And it's all right out there. It's just all that love on there and all of that grief.
Yeah, and you know what? A good friend of mine, Juliana Sellers, I think I connected you with her.
Yes.
She says that grief is love with nowhere to go. Does that?
Yes. I've described it for me personally with Chuck. It's passion with nowhere to go. Like that relationship, he died, and it's like, what do I do with all of that love now? And it's like that focal point of your love is no longer there. So what are you going to do with it? So that's why I set out, not necessarily consciously, I just knew instinctively what I needed to do was create relationships in this world. And it isn't enough, and it doesn't take the place of, and no, there's no closure, but it's something that helps me continue living. And that's what I need.
Yeah. And I'm always humbled by Alison and her journey. And I never thought 4 years ago, 2016, I never thought that we would reconnect again in Arizona, just outside of Sedona.
Here we are.
But this is day 19 of this trip that I'm on, and
it's like you're one of my kids, and you've set out into the world, and you're traveling now. I love it, and you're living out of a car.
Yeah.
I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm just staying in my car camping across the country, and we were just talking about that because, I think the thing is, there's 1,000 ways you can do this, and you can, and just to me, it's a metaphor of life in that you can overthink it, and you can spend days, months, years trying to get it right, or you can just go do it.
Yes.
And at some point, you just got to go do it because I say there's always a version 1 of everything. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people aren't willing to go to version 1. They want to get to version 3. So they try to think themselves to version 3. And you can't. You got to have a version 1, which is messy, but it gives you the perspective that you need to create version 2, then to create version 3. And then, as time goes by, people are like, oh my goodness, it's a miracle. How did you do all that? Because I was willing to go through version 1 and make it messy. Yeah. So I just figured out a way that, what I'm doing is a means to an end. I wanted to bring beautiful places, faces, and traces, inspirational places, faces, and traces to you and create this experiential mini course, which I'm doing right now to help people just remove these limiting beliefs. The limiting beliefs that are not, of course there's limitations, but the ones that are bogus.
Yeah,
ones that
you get in your head.
Right.
And you get these barriers that you set up, and you think, I can't do that. And my mom always said, it's about putting on the green light. You turn it on and you think anything that you could possibly think. And the way that you gain confidence in doing this is by doing it. If you think about it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I'd never towed a trailer. I'd never camped. I'd never done any of this. There's so much I don't know. You just learn as you go. And also it's really a really good lesson in helping you learn to ask people for help.
Oh
with me, it's with my trailer. It's like, okay, I don't know how to do this. How about if you help me? And I know, bless their hearts, there are quite a few women out there who get offended. Like if a guy, offers because they figure, he's just doing, he's a guy, he thinks I don't know what I'm doing. I say, if somebody wants to help me or wants to do it for me, I'm raising my hand. I'm going to go sit in the lawn chair and let them do all the work for me. My confidence is strong enough. I'm willing to accept help anywhere it comes.
Yeah.
So you just go out and do it, and then you learn to ask for help.
You are amazing, and you're right. And people want to help.
They do.
And you talk about community. I know a lot of people out there, they're not in a community. They're trying to go at it alone. They're confused. They're hurt. They're not connecting with people to get the help that they need. In our emergency life coach community, we say every coach, don't work with a coach who doesn't have a coach.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Exactly right. It's the same like any psychologist ought to be going to therapy while they're being a psychologist. Anybody who's doing something, you need to always be looking at yourself and your own barriers that you might still have up and you don't even realize it. You always work with somebody. You always have a mentor. You have a person to guide you. And then you turn around and you guide somebody. It just becomes this beautiful ripple effect. And that's how life actually works.
Yes.
But we have not allowed life to work that way. And it's a lot easier when we do it that way.
And I think it goes back to what you said about grief, is because society wants to put everything in a box.
Yes,
Society wants to define everything. And I'm not here to say that's bad. That's not like, I'm not here to say, oh, forget, F society. That's not what this is about. But what I think is important is our ability to be flexible and open, and that we can step out of the box. We can look at the box, but we can be willing to get out of the box, because that's where new experiences. I said it yesterday in my video. Eleanor Roosevelt, do something every day that scares you.
That is I've lived on that quote for years, ever since Chuck and I went on the road in 2009. Every day you must do that one thing that you fear the most. And ever since Chuck died, especially, everything I have done is everything I fear the most, because the biggest fear is living without him. And every day I confront that fear. And then everything I do throughout the course of the day, whether it's getting the trailer and learning how to hitch it up, I'm still so pleasantly surprised when I leave somewhere and my trailer comes with me. Like, wow, I did it right again. It's behind me where it's supposed to be. It doesn't come off while I'm traveling,
That's so true.
It's a good thing.
It's so true. And it's not like traveling's different. Your life presents these opportunities. But I could say for me, in recording these 9 questions to remove limiting beliefs, first of all, when I faced the Grand Canyon for the first time, and then when I'm in the canyon and I hiked down this, what was like a waterfall, it's all rock.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm right at the edge. I'm overlooking down. I see the Colorado River. I mean, it's like,
what do you say?
Well, you know what it is? It's the initial reaction, the initial absorption of that moment creates energy, right?
Yes.
You could say it's fear. You could call it what it is. But if you can stand in the gap for a moment and just trust yourself, there's the opening, there's the growth.
Yes.
And Muhammad Ali said that, they asked him, and I said this, I don't know if you know this or not, but Muhammad Ali, the great boxer, they said, how many reps do you do? How many push-ups? Mm-hmm. And he said, I don't know. And he said, what do you mean you don't know? You're training for a fight. How do you not know how many reps you do? And he said, because I don't start counting till after it hurts. So in other words, he knew that the growth happens when you're at the edge. And a lot of people, because they get out of the box, they go to the edge and they trust, instead of trusting themselves, they trust that initial response.
Yes.
Which is from an old paradigm, and they pull back.
That's in their head, right? They're already setting up a barrier.
Right.
Rather than just knocking them all down and just saying, you know what, I'm going to go for it. It's whether you call it the leap of faith, and I don't even mean religiously. It's like, you know what, I'm going to trust myself, the universe, whatever it is, enough. Yeah. I'm just going to go. And
I think it's like trusting your awareness.
Yes.
Because, again, society, they make, it wants you to think you got to react, respond, you got to know the answers. But what if you could just trust your awareness and go, okay, I'm here. Like, I'm here and I'm just absorbing my surroundings. Like, you're allowed to sit and absorb your surroundings. Yes. You're allowed to do that, and you don't have to respond right away. Sedona. Donnie, what's up? Yes, I'm just outside of Sedona. I'll be there today. I'm going to be filming the last question in the 9-question series. Today, actually, today's a bonus content, so I'm wrapping up the 9
bonus,
questions.
right?
You're part of the bonus. This is day 19. We're having some great conversation. Let us know you can hear us. I think you can at this point. Thanks, Bruce. Let's see if we have any. I can't even scroll down to see who's on here and who's not. But anyway, we appreciate you all being here. There we go. We got some folks on. Any final, just inspiration, part of your journey, your love, every day? How do you do it? Like, how do you get out there and just...
I trust love. Chuck left so much love behind for me, and it isn't enough, but it has to be enough. And so it is. And I just trust love to lead me wherever I need to go, wherever I need to be, and who and what I need to be at any given moment. And I don't mean that in some pie in the sky type way. I'm deadly serious. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. If it weren't, then I wouldn't be here with any level of sanity after Chuck's death. So I know it is, and I trust it implicitly. And that's what makes me just keep pushing and jumping and taking that leap.
Yeah. And I think it's worth it to say, it's because people can say, it's cliche, but I think love can be a vulnerable, just open. It takes a lot of courage.
It requires vulnerability.
It requires courage to love in a relationship. And then when that relationship's over, whether it's through loss or whatever, it's a loss either way.
Yes.
There's still that vulnerability. like love wants to open us up. And I think when we don't open up, we cause ourselves more pain than when we do. Because if we open up, we might experience the pain of loss. But if we stay closed, I think that's the worst of the two pains. But I think we don't realize it's the worst of the two pains.
Shakespeare said it. It is better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all.
That's true.
And you know what? I was married to Chuck for 24 years. It was an amazing, incredible marriage for both of us. And it is devastating. It's painful. It's empty. It's numbing. It's shocking. All of these things, living without him. And I would go back and right away I'd say I do to him again. And I'd say I do to love instantly. If it meant I had those 24 years, even living with this.
Yeah. Alison, you're an incredible person. This is a part of your journey. I know, the loss that you've experienced is incredible. I think again, I'm just reflecting to you, the residual effect of what you're doing, there's no, it's like infinite. It's the ripple. It's the ripple beyond the ripple that is going to have a lasting impact on the people you come in contact with. And so I have two things to close up. I want to say, first of all, if you're going through some kind of a grief or even if you're not, just learn about Alison. If you are somebody, you lost a spouse or significant other, you have a challenge that you're doing right now.
Yes.
And so so somebody who went through a loss, what would they?
Anybody can get in touch with me on my website, odysseyoflove.com. Also on Facebook, I'm on Facebook as Happily Homeless. And you can get in touch with me with all of that. I'm going to be doing a challenge. I'm going to be offering an online bereavement support group. I've got I call it a Love-umentary coming up about my Odyssey of Love. That's going to be released in the next few months. And I've got a podcast that I've got a real big learning curve with, but I'm getting there, called An Odyssey of Love on Podbean. So all of these, just get in touch with me. Whether it's loss, grief, love, I'm good with all of it, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you to just go into this video and just post the comments in, put the links in there. So because the people that are engaging, they'll get it. So if you want to engage, just type a comment in, so that you'll get notified when Alison puts a comment in. And then lastly, those of you know, I lost my dad in January 11th of 2018. And, my experience with that has been like, my dad's presence has expanded. But what I want to ask you to do, if you could, since your trailer's not here, but if you could record a video of put my dad's name on there.
I would love to. Tell me your dad's name again.
James A. Haynes, James Austin Haynes Jr.
And I asked that not even so much to be reminded of your dad's name, but because you need to be able to say your dad's name. Yeah. And that's the point of it. So I will write your dad's name, Jim. Jim. Okay. On my trailer with your name underneath it, your first name. Yep. And then I'll do a recording and I'll send it to you. Record it, and then we can share it here, let people see it, and then they'll be able to see what you've created and just see this incredible journey that you're on. And I just want to say this too, because the nice thing, what's happening, whether you know it or not, is that you are pioneering. You're a pioneer. And I think all of us are pioneers to a degree, in that we are pioneering our expression in life. And I believe that we can get too caught into what it's supposed to look like. The rules are, there are no rules. I would say the only one rule is, are you heart-centered? I mean, and if you are, we all believe different things as far as the creation and divinity and universe, but what always comes across, whatever your beliefs are, is your heart. And I think when you're heart-centered, you can blaze your trail, because in the knowingness that I'm here to serve. I'm here to do good. I'm here to help. And it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's downright ugly and chaotic, but we keep going forward. So this is day 19 with Alison here, and it's just been an honor, Alison, to be here with you today. This guy.
Love you too.
Great. And he's my good buddy.
So we're gonna chat and finish this up, but type in a comment so that when Alison types in her links, you can connect. And I'll be back with you later from Sedona. I'm finishing up the 9-question series, and I'm going to do like an update as I can, either recorded or live. So love you. God bless you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Bruce. Let me just close out. No, I don't know if I can close out, but we'll figure it out. We're still live. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. Bye, everyone.